Good morning, podcast listeners. Good morning, Carla.
Good morning, Caroline.
Have you had a lovely
Good morning,
week?
world.
Sorry. Oh, yes. Good morning, world. Yes. Have you had a lovely week? Have you had a week?
I've had a week. I don't. It has not. I've not had a memorable week. I realised that it's one of those weeks that have flown by, and you think, what happened there? I realised I've been back from yours for over a week now,
Yeah,
and I've no recollection of anything that's happened in that time.
that's bizarre, isn't it?
It is, isn't it? Yeah. Because in my head yesterday, before you messaged me to say what time are we recording tomorrow, I was like, "Oh, we're not recording this week, oh, because Caroline's away." And then my head argued with me, "No, that was last week. Yeah."
That was last week, and we'd already recorded last week's in advance because we did a buy one, get one type of.
We did kind of a horrible bog off idea. Yeah.
That's the
So
one.
yeah, I don't know quite where my week went. It's shot by.
I can't believe we're halfway through the year. It's July now.
Yeah.
Madness, isn't it?
Do you find the older you get, the faster time goes? Like
Yeah,
we're
but
accelerating rapidly towards the grave.
that's because a small amount of time is less of a percentage of your life the older you get, so it goes
Yeah.
faster.
Yeah, when you were little, if you'd said to me in 20 years' time, you'll be blah, 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 blah. Oh, that's a very long time away.
Yeah.
Now you're telling me in 20 years' time I'll be dead, and that seems like not quite enough time at all, actually.
Yes. Just to clarify, I didn't tell you in 20 years' time you'll be dead. I did not say that. Anyway, I had a week. I had a very, very up and down week, actually. So we'll concentrate on the good part of the week. I met up with a friend for lunch who I haven't seen for 22 years.
I remember you saying you were going to meet up. Yeah.
Yeah, it was so nice to see her. She hadn't changed a bit. It was almost
one of those friendships you can drop back into, and
yeah, just like picking up where we left off, because it's always a little bit nerve-wracking when you haven't seen someone for that long. And it was just that we lived in different places. We both had kids. We were ship friends. We met on the ships, and it was just so lovely catching up with her and her life, and it was so nice. And yes, it was the high point of a difficult week.
Yeah, okay. Because you were going to visit your mum. Did that go okay?
Yeah.
You got there okay. Nothing happened. You didn't have a car crash.
I got there okay. Yeah. It was a bit of a sad visit. My dad's not doing good, and yeah, all a bit upsetting.
Yeah.
But onwards we go.
Indeed, we plod on. But yeah, I don't quite know where my week went. I could not pinpoint. Where did the time go? I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. I can't tell you anything I did this week either.
Went to work, sold stuff on eBay.
Been to work. I've done very little listing this week, so it's not as if I've drowned myself in work.
I know what you did this week. You went to the pub quiz, and there was only 2 of you doing it.
I did that Friday night. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Did you see Nick Hills on the telly?
Yes, I did. I put that on my Instagram stories last night as well. I had to watch it on catch up last night because I was working Saturday night when it was actually on.
I tell you what, if I'd have gone in for that quiz, I'd have been null point.
I think I got like 2 of them right. I think I got 2 right. Tom was on fire. Tom was like bam, 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 bam. But even Nick was standing there going, "Okay, mate, off you go."
it was. All the contestants were so good, weren't they?
Yeah, they did really well.
They get it so quickly. I'm like, oh, I haven't even started listening. Yeah.
For anyone listening who's wondering, our friend Nick Hills was on a program called The Hit List, which is a BBC program. You can find it on Catch Up if you are interested in watching it. It's presented by Rochelle and Marvin Humes.
Yes, JLS and Saturdays, or
yes, yeah, and and they were on that. Him and his friend Tom were on that Saturday night, and no spoilers, but they were good. They were good.
Yeah, they were very good. I was impressed. Yes, so I thought of a new little section we can have, as well as what we're reading, what we're watching. I thought of a new section we could have. I haven't thought of any content for it, but I thought we could have pet peeve of the week, something that's irritated us.
How long is this podcast supposed to be? Because if I get on my soapbox, this is going to be like a 4-hour podcast.
I don't know. I thought that might be quite a fun thing to do.
Okay, have I got to think of a pet peeve off the top of my head?
Yeah, but so I was not necessarily today. I was just running that past you, and also obviously the listeners, and see what you think about pet peeve of the week.
Okay. Have you got one for us this week? Have you?
No, I haven't. As I said, I haven't even thought about it. I'm sure I could think of one. could probably think of 20 things that annoy me in the course of a week.
So I tell you, I'll give you my pet peeve, and this is based on this morning's experience of life alone. My pet peeve this morning is door handles.
Oh.
Why are door handles at the same height as sleeves?
Do you know what? That happened to me last week, and I not only ripped my sleeve, I bruised my arm at the same time.
The level of 0 to fury that is engendered by catching one's sleeve on a door handle. And you know this is an irrational rage. But literally, you're wandering through, you're quite happy, you're singing away, you're whistling, don't worry, be happy to yourself, minding your own business, and the next minute you're like, ah! And I daren't yell as loud for this podcast as I actually yell when this happens to me, because people, headphone warning, all the rest of it, people will be crying, be like, ouch, but honestly, 0 to incandescent in 0.3 seconds because I've got my sleeve caught on a door handle. Why don't they put door handles slightly higher up? Eye level, for example. There's a nice safe spot. But yeah, there's my pet peeve. I did that this morning. I got my sleeve caught. I banged my elbow. I dropped what I was carrying. I had a rage. The dogs ran away. Then I have to go and find the dogs and tell them that they're fine. They're not in trouble. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
God, yeah. It's also, depending on how fast you're going, if you're whizzing through the house, as I usually am, it really stops you in your tracks, doesn't it? Pulls you back, almost like being on a bit of elastic. Super annoying.
Today's pet peeve is the height of door handles.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I feel like that's quite an innocuous one as well. Not innocuous. Innocuous is something else. Innocuous one that nobody can be offended by, apart from perhaps door handle citing administrators whose job it is to decide these things. They're the only people who could possibly be offended by me saying that, and I bet there's hundreds of them listening in.
But as well, it could be sleeve makers, because some of your sleeves are too wide. If they were tight round your arm, you see, you wouldn't be able to do it.
Well, speak for yourself. I've got fat arms, all my sleeves are tight. I feel like sleeve makers would be on my side. Sleeve makers would agree that door handle citers should sort their lives out.
Possibly.
Sleeve makers would be like, look what you're doing to our sleeves.
Yeah, it's a thought, isn't it? Anyway, what are you reading this week?
I have just finished Millie Johnson, The Woman in the Middle. Now,
was it good?
It was really, really good, because it was it resonated with me, because she is a woman in her mid to late 40s who is squeezed between trying to let go of her adult children whilst watching them make almighty cock-ups of what's going on with them, and looking after elderly parents. But the difference between her and me is she also has a shockingly useless husband.
Oh, okay.
Who, again, not too many spoilers in case anyone wants to read it, but yeah, so she's the woman in the middle because she feels like filling in the sandwich, squeezed from both sides, and yeah, and so it resonated with me for that. But it was a very good story.
I've just written the title of that down because it sounds good. I feel like Millie Johnson, is she one of the people who does like cupcake cafe type books, or am I wrong?
Not exactly. I think her publishers have tried to lead her titles towards that. But Millie Johnson herself, when you actually read the books, although they are chick lit, they're a lot more. They're not quite so churned out. You know what I mean? She doesn't churn them out the way that some of those are churned out, and
more you're sort of like Catherine Elliott. Do you read Catherine Elliott?
Yeah, I have read Catherine Elliott. She's not quite as gritty as Catherine Elliott. And I wouldn't say Catherine Elliott was completely gritty.
No, I wouldn't either. That wouldn't be an adjective.
More that way than she is twee, you know?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. It's the twee ones that I don't really like. I find the twee ones a bit irritating. More Jill Mansell. I quite like Jill Mansell.
Yeah, she's much more Jill Mansell. She's actually very good friends with Jill Mansell as well.
So. Oh, right. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So I've been reading, when I say I've been reading, I've been listening to on Borrow Box from the library, but rented book from the library or borrowed book from the library on the Borrow Box app, called One Summer in Crete, which was very chick lit. It's by someone called Nadia Marks, who I've not heard of before. And I don't really get on with audiobooks. I much prefer to actually read. And I think I'm in the minority with that, because audiobooks are super popular, aren't they? But I find my attention drifts away.
I enjoy an audiobook of a book that I have read before. So, for example, I'm currently listening to Terry Pratchett, Feet of Clay, which is a book I've read many times. What that means is if I miss a bit, it doesn't matter.
That's
Whereas
a
with
good
an
idea,
audiobook,
actually.
if I miss a bit, I've lost the plot and I don't know what's going on. And it's very difficult to rewind an audiobook to the bit you missed. When you're reading an ordinary
Yes.
book and your attention drifts and you realise you've flipped 2 pages and you haven't paid attention, you can just go back a couple of pages and read it. It's difficult with an audiobook. So if
Yeah,
it's
it
one that I've
is.
read before, it doesn't matter so much.
Oh, that's maybe I'll try that then. But the reason I got this book out on audio was I was going up to Bournemouth and I thought I'll listen to it in the car. Give me something to listen to. And I actually quite enjoyed it. It was, as I say, very chiclety. And I deliberately chose something very light because I know that my attention drifts and I needed to be able to, dip in and out sort of thing. Yeah. And it was very nice. It made me want to be in Greece. It was a very nice summer holiday read, I would say. So, yeah. Enjoyed it. Now I've got to pick what I'm going to read next.
Have you read that other one that I talked about a few weeks ago? This Is How It Always Is. Because I think you said you've got that on Kindle.
No, I'm going to read that one next. This is how. Just let me write that down because obviously I won't be able to retain. This is part of it. This part.
It's either called This Is How It Always Is or This Is How Things Always Are.
This is how it always is. Yes, I'm going to read that next. There we are. I've written that down.
What have you been watching this week?
What have I been watching this week? I have watched I think it's 6-part Netflix documentary about the Tour de France, and it was of last year's Tour de France, and it was sort of going into the not the background of it, but interviews with people involved in it, the riders themselves and all the sort of peripheral people around it. And it was so interesting. I absolutely loved it. It was one of the best things I've watched for ages.
Do you enjoy watching cycling and the Tour de France and things like that? Is that one of your interests?
I don't particularly like watching road cycling. When they have the Olympics, they do the cycling in the velodrome. I really like that. I really enjoy that. Because it's quite exciting and quick and it's appealing to my very low attention span. Talking of low attention span, I don't know if you read on, was it your YouTube comments or I think it was the YouTube, it might have been the podcast comments from last week actually. And someone said, could you and Carla do the Enneagram test?
I did see that comment, yeah.
Yes, and I had no idea what it was. So I Googled it and it's like a psychometric personality test they do when you apply for jobs. I remember having one of those once, and just question after question after question. Are you the type of person who this? And you have to choose on a scale from strongly disagree to strongly agree. And I did about 10 questions, and I was bored rigid. And then I discovered there were 7 pages of it. So I think that probably says way more about my personality than anything else. Does, yeah. But the lady also said that she was convinced that you would come out as a number 9.
And what is a number 9? Fried chicken and egg fried rice?
Do you know what? I didn't look at what a number 9 was.
I don't know whether that's. See, I don't know whether that's. I don't know whether that is a compliment or insult.
I'm going to look it up.
A number 9 is a complete and utter piece of pondweed. I'm so trying to keep this podcast not XXX rated language wise.
I'm not sure how it benefits you to. I mean, I get for perhaps an employer who's looking for a specific type of person, and it's not always apparent from discussing it with you. But personality type. Hang on. Type 9, the peacemaker.
Really? Go on.
Okay, so 9s are defined by their desire to maintain a sense of inner peace and harmony and to avoid conflict or other emotional disturbances. They are typically agreeable, calm, and easy to be around.
And this lady thinks I'm a 9.
The 9s rarely rock the boat, but they can be stubborn. While they typically go with the flow, they dislike being controlled and will respond with passive resistance if pushed too far. Deepest fear, 9s fear being too needy and thus pushing people away. They cope with this fear by submitting to the desires and agendas of the people around them, being agreeable in order to be included.
I can't remember who the viewer was that made that comment.
No, I can't.
I suspect that either I have managed to give an extremely false impression of myself somehow, or that perhaps she's a new viewer who hasn't seen a lot of me.
I think she'd been subscribed 5 years because you can click on the little thing and it shows you. So I think she probably does. But yeah, I would say that No, I don't think that's you. I'm quite interested that you don't think it's you either.
Yeah. Of course, I can't see what you're looking at, so I can't see the other.
Okay, I'll give you the key personality traits: calm, collected demeanor, ability to diffuse conflict with ease, Zen-like presence.
Oh dear.
Mellow, mellow and soothing voice, sorry. Wide circle of acquaintances, generally liked by most people. Fluid, slow movements and gestures.
I mean, obviously, whenever you listen to any of these, you like to pick out the good bits and say, "Oh yes, that's definitely me. I'm very popular and I'm very wonderful and very everything. I'm definitely not fluid and graceful. I'm definitely not. I'm like a bull in a china shop."
I
Um,
I feel like these things, you see, there's bits you could pick out and go, yeah, that is quite like you. For example, you don't like outside control. I would
yeah,
say, yeah, that is you. But Zen-like presence,
I'm
absolutely not.
absolutely not a
And I
Zen
think
like.
that's the problem that I have with these sort of personality tests, that they're it, it's a bit like horoscopes, isn't it? Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? You can go, oh, you're going to get a surprise this week. Well, a surprise could, that's very
yeah.
open-ended, isn't it?
I
So
caught my sleeve on a door handle, and I was surprised by that. So
yeah,
yes, if this thing wasn't 7 pages long, I'd be tempted to take it out and see what I do come out as. But yeah,
also I think some, it depends how you're feeling on the day, how you answer the questions as well. You could, you, I don't know, but yeah, anyway, that was
yeah.
that was just vaguely interesting. I thought I'd mention it.
Well, I'm glad to hear about my Zen-like presence. And anytime now that you start to get a bit irate, I shall remind you of my Zen-like presence, and that will calm you instantly.
I can imagine. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that already. And what have you been watching this week then?
Well, I have been binge watching. I did that thing where I started watching something and watched the whole thing in a week. So that's probably why I don't know what's happened this week, because most of this week I've been watching.
Now the truth comes out. You've been in front of Netflix,
I'm
haven't
trying to
you?
work out where my time has gone. That's probably where.
Yeah.
And I've been watching something that I had actively avoided watching for years. So I'm very late to
Ooh.
the party on Afterlife with Ricky Gervais.
Oh, thoughts?
Now, I avoided it because I'm not a big fan of Ricky Gervais. I just tend to go, oh dear, if it's got him in it, I won't like it.
Yeah.
And everybody had said that it was good, but obviously, when it was first made, and it was all everyone was raving about it. It was all wonderful. Everybody was watching it, and I went, I don't like Ricky Gervais. I'm not watching that. I don't really like him. I'm not watching that. I watched The Office, and I agreed that The Office was funny and well written, but when I've seen Ricky Gervais in other things, I don't really like him. Don't really like it. I don't take to him watch it. Sucked in from the very first. Oh my! I've watched all 3 series in a week.
Yeah, it's brilliant,
There are
isn't it?
6 episodes per series. They're 28 minutes per episode. They're on BBC iPlayer, I think, although I'm not sure. I've been watching it on Netflix, so I might have lied about it. I probably lied about the iPlayer bit. They're on Netflix, and yeah, I've just binge watched all 3 series.
I think I cried the most I've ever cried at a program, and at the end of the first season of that, oh,
Yeah,
broke me.
yeah, just yeah, unbelievable. And it led me into what I said to you about this week's subject. We were talking about subject matters, and I said to you, why don't we do why we watch, who we watch, and whatever. And I didn't explain it very well. And what I meant was, for example, I have avoided watching this. This is a wonderful program that I've missed out on for several years because of my preconceived ideas about the fact that I don't like Ricky Gervais.
Yeah.
I don't like him, so I didn't watch that, and I lost out. I missed out because of that for all these years on something that I thoroughly enjoyed. And yet there are other things. For example, if you said to me it's got Helena Bonham Carter in it, I'd watch it. It could be Helena Bonham Carter doing 2 hours of licking stamps. And I'd be like, she was good in that, mind, wasn't she? Don't you think she was good in that? Oh, she's good in everything. It could be Helena Bonham Carter painting a garden wall. I'd watch it. Because in my mind, I like her. I like the stuff she does. She's brilliant. The same with, I used Judi Dench, didn't I, in my
Yeah.
example for you? The same with Judi Dench. If you tell me Judi Dench is in it, I know I'll like it. If David Tennant's in it, I know I'll like it. If Olivia Colman's in it, that'll be good. but I had these preconceived ideas that I wouldn't like this because I don't like, and it makes me wonder when we talk about influences and how you are influenced by things and how much we're
Yeah.
influenced by our own preconceived notions of what we like and don't like. Over to you.
Yeah, I see. Yes, it's quite interesting, isn't it? The Ricky Gervais thing. I mean, I wouldn't say I didn't really enjoy The Office. I thought it was tedious. And I didn't find it that amusing. But then I'm funny about comedy, things that are meant to be funny. I don't find that funny generally. But Afterlife I absolutely loved. And I can't remember why. I think it's with books, right? With books, if there's a really hyped book, I almost avoid reading it because I feel like I'm going to be disappointed by it because everybody else says it's so good. I don't want to read it in case I feel disappointed. It sets an expectation, doesn't it?
Yes, yeah, and also this kind of almost a worry that if you don't like it, you're wrong in some way. Why
You're
don't
out
I
of
like
step
it?
with the rest of the world.
Everybody loves it, and I don't. Then what's the matter with me? Yeah,
Yeah, very true.
yeah. I mean, I didn't read Harry Potter until I think the third book was out by the time I finally read the first one. And
I've
again,
never read Harry Potter. I've tried.
Have you watched any of the films?
Don't like the films either.
No, see, the films are not they're not that accurate to the book. But when I finally read Harry Potter, it was kind of like I should catch up on this. Everybody's now talking about it, and I don't have the reference frame that people have because I haven't read these books. And I don't know. I don't know how often I'm guilty of avoiding something because everybody else likes it, and I'm being a rebellious idiot about it.
Yeah.
You know, how often do I do that? How often do I do a kind of a snobby kind of, oh, well, if the proletariat enjoy it, then it's not for me.
It's maybe not even that for me. It's I feel like I like to go into things without expectation because then if something's better, and this works for life as well and all sorts of stuff. Like for example, if I can't actually get a sentence out of my mouth. Apparently, my brain's thinking faster than I can talk. Yeah, if you go in without any expectation, if it's really good, you're pleasantly surprised, aren't you? But if it's disappointing, you haven't had an expectation. You're not as disappointed as you would be if you'd anticipated it being really good.
Yeah. Avocado. Everybody seems to think avocado is great. I don't like it. I don't know if it's me or the avocado that's at fault, but I don't like it.
The avocado is very overhyped.
Avocado onto their toast right, left, and centre, and having it with a poached egg, and I'm like, that's disgusting.
And it's all here we are, pet peeve of the week: vegans eating avocados and pretending like that they're saving the planet by not eating it.
Doesn't it damage the oh dear, doesn't it damage the climate getting your avocado here or something?
Oh, absolutely. They come from the other side of the bloody world. And they're having to grow more avocados to satisfy the vegans' demands. Probably not just vegans. I'm sure other people who aren't vegans.
The vegans. I can see the capitalization on that. The vegans.
Nothing wrong with being vegan, but don't be a preachy vegan. We used to have a friend who was vegan, and they'd come over for dinner years ago, I'm talking. And we would give her vegan food. Obviously, we cooked something special. We didn't expect her to eat steak and chips, you know. We're not entirely unreasonable. And she would, without fail, lecture us about eating meat. We're not friends with them anymore. We're not friends with them anymore.
Yeah, I can't invite you because I'm perfectly on board with your beliefs, but you're not on board with mine.
Yeah.
You know, I'm quite happy for you to eat what you want, and yet you won't let me eat what I want.
Yeah, that was sort of the size of it. So that's weird. I've gone off topic a bit. Did you have something else?
We were talking about how you're influenced by your preconceived notions of stuff, yeah. And I don't know if I can think of another example of things that I've avoided and then wished I hadn't, apart from avocado.
The word influence has changed, of course, hasn't it, with influencer?
Yeah.
Do you get influenced by influencers?
I'm definitely influenced by adverts. And I don't necessarily mean the kind of adverts that influencers do when somebody shows it on a video. I don't necessarily mean that because I don't tend to watch very many UK things, and I don't tend to pay any attention to the stuff the American people are offering because I feel like that's over there anyway, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So for example, I watch Beatrice and she does quite a lot of vitamin stuff, but it's, you know, but I am very much influenced by the adverts that pop up on my phone all the time. Something pops up and I'm like, I could have one of them. Or the
TikTok
adverts on
shop
TikTok.
is,
Yeah, TikTok shop,
oh,
definitely.
that's so easy, isn't it? Click, click, and it's on its way.
Yeah.
It's
I bought show this is the ultimate in how I was influenced. I accidentally early one morning, probably about 6 o'clock in the morning, scrolling through my phone, which I try not to do in the mornings because I try and get up and do work anyway, clicked onto one of these paint pouring videos. And
oh,
they're
what?
in
Sorry.
paint pouring, and they're in China or somewhere like that. I don't know if it actually is China, but in it, you know. Anyway, they paint pour, and basically what these were they were plastic or rubber kind of dolls that looked a bit like a mouse. I'll send you a picture later. Plastic rubber dolls that look like a bit like a mouse, and they pour the paint all over it, and because of the way they pour the paint, it almost swirls and it makes lovely patterns and whatever. And you could order one, and you could choose which colors you wanted, and they would do it in front of you, and they would swirl it in front of you. And I watched this for about an hour. I now have two of the damn things in my front room.
Yeah. Can you put a picture on Instagram?
I will do. I will put a picture on Instagram. There, I mean, I was still intrigued by how they, but just I unpacked them. They arrived. I went, oh God, here are those things I ordered. I put them on the side in the front room. They've been there ever since. They serve absolutely no purpose. They're not particularly ornamental. It would be if I lived in a fun and funky madhouse kind of place.
Yeah.
But they go with my decor in anyway. They're not functional. They're completely pointless. They cost me about 40 quid.
God.
And I was carried along on a wave of enthusiasm because she would do it right in front of me then and there, and I could tell her, oh no, I don't want the ears to be like that, and can you do a little bit more on the side, and can you put a bit
Amazing.
more purple in, and I thoroughly went, and the next day I was wobbling my head around going, what happened there? How did I
You know
get
what
so
I nearly bought yesterday?
what?
I was watching TikTok, as you do, and there was a lesbian lady, and I say that because that was her username. It was I can't remember the expression, but very short-haired lesbian lady, and it said lesbian, something lesbian was her username.
What,
And
local lesbian? If it's local lesbian,
my point being in this whole thing that she was not a glamorous girly type, and she was trying on this eyeliner stamp. You know, it came in like a pen thing for black eyeliner.
yes, I have this, the faux error one.
No, it wasn't a faux error one. It's something else. And it was, she said she'd never put eyeliner on in her life. And she did this stamp and it looked so easy and it looked so good. Now, I don't wear eyeliner. I don't like myself in black eyeliner. That thing was in my basket quicker than you could say knife.
So does it just do the wings or does it do the whole eye?
It did the wing bit. You stamped the wing bit and then you used the other end or something to join it on. I wasn't entirely clear because, as I say, I'm not an eyeliner person, but yeah, straight in my basket. What was I thinking of? I'm not going to start wearing bloody black winged eyeliner at my age.
What I would do if I were you is I would give it to a friend who happens to have a birthday this month.
I didn't actually get as far as checking out. I put it in my basket and then I gave myself a thorough talking to and said, Caroline, it's just so easy, that TikTok shop.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been tempted to buy myself some of those overalls. Everybody's wearing overalls, cotton or linen blend overalls. I know what I will look like in those.
Don't do it.
I already know what I will look like in those, and yet I'm so tempted because everyone on TikTok's wearing them. They look good. They do this thing on TikTok where they show a very big plus size lady like myself holding them up out of the packet, and then they show some other bugger wearing them. And I'm still being sucked in by this. I'm still going, oh, she looks nice. And I know it's not her. I can see it's not her. I can see they haven't put Mrs. Hattie from the first shot in the overalls in the first place. I can see they haven't done this.
Here's the thing. You would be cursing when you needed the loo, wouldn't you?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, they need a potty flap.
A potty flap? Is that a thing?
Something else I've been influenced by this week.
Yeah.
These, I'm holding them up. You can't see them on the podcast, obviously, but Caroline can see them.
Birthday cake.
Flower and white. Now, I love flower and white bars anyway. They're meringue bars. You and I had one last time I came down.
You bought me one at Darts Farm, didn't you?
Yeah. And they've brought out 2 new flavours, the limited edition birthday cake and caramel gold.
Caramel gold sounds
immediately influenced to purchase those. So now I've got about 48 of the damn things. I mean, there's
that
no
is not good.
There.
Having 48 is not good.
They're only 92 calories each.
Yeah, but 48 times 92 calories is quite a lot. And you know what? You'll be like, the flour and white bars there. I need to eat them because then they'll be gone. And I won't be thinking about eating them.
Yeah, I was immediately influenced into ordering those because I was like, I already know I like flour and white, and these sound delicious. So shall I try one live on a podcast?
Yeah, can you try the caramel gold one? I'm interested in that.
So what I'm hoping it's going to be is somewhere like, like a little gold bar, McVitie's gold bar.
Oh yeah, yes, I like those.
Yeah, but obviously with meringue in the middle,
like a Caramac sort of vibe.
Yeah, smells Caramac-y. Hang on.
Oh, I could get on board with that. I'm not a sweet person, but anything Caramac-y. Oh God, it's raining! Bloody hell!
At risk of influencing the viewers, this is amazing.
Is it nice?
Really good. Yeah.
Better for viewing than radio, or possibly not actually, watching you chow down a white bar. Yeah, I like anything Caramac flavoured.
Caramel flavoured chocolate wrapped around caramel flavour meringue as well.
Nice.
Yeah, it says on the back. Caramel flavoured meringue coated in a caramel gold chocolate. They've changed their packaging now as well at Flower and White. This is now biodegradable plastic-free packaging that still looks like plastic. So I don't know what they make that out of.
Weird. Does look like plastic.
Yeah, but it isn't. It's plastic-free, so that's clever.
Plastic
because they used to
without
come
plastic.
in papery packages.
Excellent. Right, well, I suppose we better draw this to an end.
I'm still munching.
You're influencing me to get a flower and white Caramac bar now.
If I was a nice person, I could post one down to you.
It would probably get squished.
It'd probably be crumbs by the time it arrived, yeah.
I'll get myself one when I go to Darts Farm.
Yeah, they might have them in there.
Yeah, they might do. What you doing for the rest of the day then?
I have got my eBay parcels to do, and then I've got to go and do the eBay parcel run and pick up Natalie from her work. She's going to go and do the banking, and she has to, because of the amount she has to take, she's only allowed to take up to a certain amount on foot. If she has to take over a certain amount, then she has to go in a vehicle for safety purposes. So I'm going to go pick her up and take her to do the banking. And that's it. That's the whole of my. I have nothing planned beyond that.
I'm going to go get my washing off the line that's currently being rained on.
I'm going to put mine on the line when the rain stops.
It's all fun and games with us this week.
It is.
Right.
Well, yeah, thank you for joining us, people of Podcast Land.
Yes, and we'll be
Whether
back.
this has been of any merit whatsoever, who knows?
I'm going to think of my pet peeve in advance next week.
Yeah, I'll plan my peeve.
Yeah.
A pre-planned peeve.
A pre-planned
try a plan to prevent poor performance.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for watching and listening. We'll see you again next week. Bye.